Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sampson, Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Issac Barron, North Las Vegas City Council. He's also the member of the Clark County School Board trustee, and he's a candidate for Nevada State Senate District Number 2. But before we get to Councilman Barron, Ms. Phillips.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, and thank you to our sponsors. We have Dr. Ari Nagy. He's running for Congressional District 3. His website is nagyforcongress.com, and that's F-O-R, nagyforcongress.com. Jump on his website and check out his platform. We also have Henderson's Mayor, Michelle Romero. She's running for re-election. Her website is votemichelleromero.com, votemichelleromero.com. Get in touch with her. We also have Cody K. Whipple. He's running for Congressional District 4. His website is codykforcongress.com, and that's the number 4. codykforcongress.com. Jump on his website and check out his platform. Don't forget to grab your copy of Steve's book, How to Navigate Nevada's Family Court System. If you are a litigant in family court and you don't have an attorney and you can't afford one, get on Amazon. You can get a copy of this book. It is $14.99, and it is a self-help book.
Sorry.
Stealing her thunder there, you know?
Excuse him, everybody. Anyway, this is a self-help book. It will help you navigate that system. Also, we have a merch store. It's VIPImerch.com, VIPImerch.com. There's all kinds of fun things for you to check out there. And don't forget to get your tickets to our Valentine's Ball. It is February 7th, and it's coming up very quick. You have not gotten your tickets yet,
I'm gonna have to get two.
Yes, you will. We're looking forward to that. It's coming up quick. The deadline end of the month, so we can let the venue know how many of you are coming, and we're excited for that. So we'll see you there. I think that is it. I know. For my rant, I thought I had another announcement, but for my rant, real quick. If you have a loved one or family member and you have a choice of a hospital to go to, in my personal opinion, I would not take them to Spring Valley Hospital if you had a choice. There are some very good nurses and doctors that are there. However, there are those that do not manage the patient's pain very well. And it is absolutely traumatic when you have a family member that is in there in massive pain and they are just ignoring them and ignoring you as an advocate for that matter. So I do not recommend Spring Valley Hospital in my own personal opinion.
Oh, hey, that Spring Valley, get your act together.
Yep.
Councilman Barron.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Happy 2026 to everybody. To all of your radio escuchantes, to all of your audience there, right?
To our what?
Radio escuchantes. If you're on the radio, right? I think you.
What
I
is
think
that?
you. Radio escuchantes. Escuchante is someone who listens.
Oh, radio listeners.
So
That's
you are
right.
radio listeners, right? To all the people who tune in, right? I hope you're having a great 2026.
You want to do a shout out while you're here?
No, I'm just a shout out. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be alive.
Give Sonia a shout out.
Well, hey, if my girlfriend
she's
Sonia's
watching.
watching, if she's watching, and she probably is, hey, Sonia, hey, Mika, take care of my little boy. Right?
No.
Our little boy.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, Nevada native, lived here in Southern Nevada all but 2 years of my life. I did spend 2 years in Northern Nevada.
What are you, like 23, 24?
56. 56.
Wow. You don't look your age.
It's inherited. Well, I like to say I go to bed.
Jalapenos will do that for you.
Well,
Yeah.
I like to say that I go to bed with a clear conscience.
There
right?
you go. It's good.
But really, a lot of it is just inherited from Dad.
Mm-hmm.
My pop, may he rest in peace. He didn't go gray until he was in his 60s. So I imagine I'll have the same thing happen to me.
Wow.
Right.
I was going gray in my 20s.
Well, maybe gray is the symbol, for wisdom to nature.
Wisdom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wisdom and wisdom
Right.
nature. So.
And you still have hair.
Yeah,
So, a lot of people don't. at
You have
your
to
age.
have mine, right? I've had people ask me if I color. I don't. I know I pulled some of it out because I spent 30 years as a teacher. The last 28 at Rancho High School, where I ran a fantastic club called the Hispanic Student Union. But since 2013, I got elected to the North Las Vegas City Council.
Mm-hmm.
Right when we were 3 weeks away from shutting the doors.
Wow.
And I worked with Mayor
3
Lee.
weeks away.
Yeah, 3 weeks away. I had no idea. Well, the honeymoon was
It's
short.
like I didn't know I was going to get my pink slip.
Yeah, no, the honeymoon was actually very short. We never told anybody. I never told anybody, but just like a couple of weeks after I got sworn in, we went in for our first CFO meeting, our first executive meeting, and I had run telling people that we were like $5 million short for that fiscal year. We got in there. They told us it was $25 million short. And I was sitting there. I had my suit on because I used to wear the full suit and all stuff, right? And
I can't afford it anymore.
I just put on a jacket, and people can accept me or not. They can kick me out or not. I am who I am now.
This is your last term.
Yeah, I'm in my last term. But I remember hearing that, and I could literally feel my heart sink down to the stomach. It was in the middle of summer, even though there was air conditioning in there. I could feel myself sweat, and I thought to myself, "What are you doing? You're a high school teacher. You don't know how to do this." And I found myself unconsciously looking over to the doors where beyond were the elevators. And if it hadn't been for John Lee, I love the guy. If it hadn't been, I looked over at John Lee, and Mayor Lee, he was not scared. He wasn't panicking. He was looking all like Mr. Resolute, Navy captain of the old wooden ships, Iron Men and wooden ships, with one leg up on a chair, and he had his sleeves rolled up, and he had a look on his face. And when I saw that he wasn't panicking, I calmed down, and then we got to work putting the city back together again. And it took a long time. It wasn't easy. We didn't have the federal government running to our rescue. We didn't have the state government coming to our rescue. We had to put things together brick by brick, undo a lot of bad decisions, and put together good policy that slowly but surely got us on the right path. And I like to say that, and I was part of that team. We had a lot of things to put North Las Vegas back on the right path, and I'm really proud of the body of work that I've turned in. I come from a background where my parents they're pretty hard workers. I may not be the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed or in the toolbox, but I never get outworked, and I like to think that I outworked the people before me, and I've always outworked everybody that I replaced. And I think the proof is in looking at North Las Vegas. We have a very sound city where we have new programs. We're the first city to have a department dedicated just for our veterans, or that we recognize are a big part. And I throw that out here because I'm on veterans and politics, right?
What department is that?
Yeah, we actually have have you been to our veterans center?
The little mobile home that they have over there.
Yeah, it might be little, but it's big and it's big in resources though. Mm-hmm. When my own brother died, the team, they got together and they really helped out with all the things that I needed for him, because my brothers are veterans. Okay. And so when my brother died, they were able to get him an actual early '80s suit for him to wear, and they coordinated with the honor guard coming out, and my brother's buried out there at the veterans cemetery out there in Boise City. It's for us. It's the first of in our family. It's a big honor to have him out there, and I want to drop by to visit him when I go out to the Boise City State of the City tomorrow. I'll make a little side trip and visit him and Grandpa that are buried out there. But I'm really happy that we have our Veterans Resource Center. Again, I think the very first of its kind in Southern Nevada.
The Boulder City State of the City address is tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. You got the invite, right?
I usually get one.
Oh.
They cut me off.
Yeah, we'll have to find out who didn't send that out.
They cut me off.
Well,
and I love Boulder City.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Mayor
It's a happening
Hardy.
little place. Yeah, it's a happening place. Check your emails. It's probably in there. I have.
Oh, it came in an email?
I don't know. I think I hit the RSVP in an email. So check your emails.
Oh, okay. So I usually get a little card in the mail.
Yeah, I remember hitting an RSVP online. But after I retired from my career there at Rancho High School, and I was again doing double duty since 2013.
When did you retire from Rancho?
May of 2024.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's I'm going for 2 years, being retired now. I'm busier now because my colleagues on the board, at the city council, I should say, they appointed me to be their representative on the CCSD board of trustees, and
Because they want you to do more work.
I guess so. I think to be a good trustee, you should know either something about education, or about public policy, or be good at business. And so I think I hit two of those, right? Public policy and education. So I've been representing them since I was placed there, in August of 2024.
Do you have a vote?
Nope.
You don't have a vote.
No, but
you could influence a vote.
I'm very happy to say though that we have the right leadership in place now. We have a fantastic.
You didn't think you did before?
No. I'll say it online. I think that guy Jara was a joke, and he put people in based on favors to him, and he could probably I don't know if he's going to sue me over this, right? But a lot of people got paid a lot of money, and I didn't see those results.
You could countersue him and open him up for discovery. So I don't think he wants that.
Well,
so you won't get sued. Don't worry.
I think he's long gone. Didn't he move to Florida?
He was in Florida all the time.
Yeah, he's gone, right?
His shadow was still around.
Oh.
And his shadow was still around, and he was trying to cast shadow in our superintendent search, and we excised that shadow. So I'm very happy for that. But we have the right superintendent now, someone who is unquestionably the best person for the job, with Joan Ebert, and she's appointed some fantastic people. The deputy Welsh, Dr. Welsh, he has been a superintendent in his own right. The other deputy was the assistant superintendent when Joan was the superintendent of schools at the state, and that's Felicia Gonzalez. She and I go all the way back to first grade. I had no idea that she was going to wind up, but and she's brilliant. I was a little kid who had trouble with numbers. And Felicia was the kind of person who she had crib me the numbers.
You're talking about the new councilwoman, right?
Oh no, I'm talking about the superintendent and the assistant and the deputy superintendents. Oh, okay. And she brought in a fantastic CFO.
Do you know her since first grade? Really?
The deputy superintendent. I know her since first grade, right? And I can tell you, she's brilliant. She, if God forbid, I wouldn't want anything to happen to Joan, but she could probably take over for Joan, for an extended period. She brought in really good people. The CFO is fantastic. We have a new strategist who's coming in to help chart a new way forward. And I think she's really serious when she says she wants to make CCSD a destination district. My big thing was when I got on there, I came in when the CCSD in North Las Vegas, our schools in North Las Vegas were the ones that were most likely to not have a qualified teacher in front of the students. And that's the number one determiner of whether your kids are going to have a successful year or not. And, there were some schools with, 10, 15, 20% of missing licensed teachers. And Joan and her team, much to their credit, they've shored that up. There was the previous interim superintendent. She had declared a financial emergency. We got that shored up. We have a fantastic CFO.
How'd they get that many teachers that quickly? And were they vetted? Where'd they come from? Are they here in Nevada, or did they bring them in from other states?
And like most things, right? It's a group effort. But the first thing I have to do is, when our governor said that he was going to be the education governor.
Which governor?
Governor Lombardo. He said he was going to be the education governor, and he did it. He got the first raise for teachers. I was happy because my last year teaching, I actually got a raise. I got to admit, thanks, Governor. I appreciate that. Well, the first thing is they got more money to attract more teachers, and that really helped out a lot. It really did. We had the union working with the district and working with the governor's office to work out a lot of the kinks and details. Nothing's perfect, okay? We probably still need to do some more hiring of special education teachers, which incidentally, that's one of our biggest Achilles heels, is finding enough special education teachers. And so we're still working on that. But it was a group effort. The community came forward. They knew what they wanted. They knew what to expect. They knew what they wanted to expect out of our superintendent, and they produced. And I'm, like I said, I know we have a long hill to climb, but I think we're in the right direction, and I'm very happy with Superintendent Ebert and her supporting cast, and I really do have to thank the governor and the legislature for coming up with that money to drive us forward. But we still have hills to climb.
You've termed out over at the North Las Vegas City Council, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Although I'm not a lame duck, and I'm not swan songing. I'm on the clock. That's true, but that just makes my efforts over there even more urgent. One thing that I really look forward to. I went to the Nevada State University, state of their university, and I'm very happy to say that the city of North Vegas has a new partnership with Nevada State University. We're going to have a campus right there in downtown North Las Vegas, like I've been dreaming for several years. It's going to happen. We'll have the shovels in the dirt here. It won't be ready for a couple of years, but at least it happened. It started under my watch, and I think that's going to be transformative, not just for the city, not just for the downtown, but right now, as I understand, there's like 800 students in North Las Vegas who attend Nevada State College. Yeah. And as a teacher, I knew that many of my graduating seniors, they wanted to attend Nevada State College, but it's almost in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And you can only imagine if you don't drive, and a lot of kids today, they don't drive, transportation going all the way out there to Nevada State College, it was an issue. Now we're going to be able to draw kids from the northern quadrant of the valley, and they'll be able to go to college right there in their own neighborhood. And then plus we have, of course, there's a small extension office for Nevada, for University of Nevada, Reno. We have, of course, our partner CSN. So I'm really happy that we've done a lot to elevate education in North Las Vegas, including, of course, we do stay in our lane. I did have one legislator a couple of years ago who told me North Las Vegas needs to stay in its lane in terms of, and they know who they are, that we need to stay in our lane. Well, our residents, that's our lane. Every child that's growing up in North Las Vegas, every child that goes to a school in North Las Vegas, that's our lane. And so our city has done quite a bit to try to do everything we can with our limited jurisdiction to prop up the schools in North Las Vegas, getting small grants to fund special projects in schools, to recognize leaders and push the district for better leadership, for more teachers, which we did, right? And the district is now they're our partner, and I think we've done a lot to prop up education in our city. And of course, we do also have a number of charter schools that they lighted in North Las Vegas because they thought it'd be the easiest place to get started from inception to all the way to get it started. And so I'm happy that we have, I think, good school choice. I think we now have all of our schools now have licensed teachers to teach our children. I feel a lot better for the kids that are growing up in my neighborhood. And I feel good for my little kid. I'm starting all over again. I have a 3-year-old myself who will be attending. My oldest is 37. 37, 34, and 3. Yeah. Hey, things happen, but hey, I guess Barron
still don't know what happened.
Well, hey, I guess Barron can still get the job done, huh?
Barron still get the job
right.
done.
But all kidding aside, all kidding aside, and I could be crass. I could be crass and all this, right? But I've always, for me, this job, this public service thing, I've always taken it real serious. For me, it's not a way for me to get ahead. I've always felt that it's my duty to do what I can to help out our residents, to help out the businesses that help our residents, to make sure that everyone who lives in the city of North Las Vegas can live to the best of their ability, that we can serve them, because in the end they're my neighbors. I have to face my neighbors. I got to face my students. I did the math. Probably 250 or 300 students times 30 years. That's a lot of ex-students out there in the community. Some of them have jobs, but some of them have businesses. They're cops. They're military members, right? They're moms. They're dads, right? And I have a duty to them. I have a duty to them. I have a duty to my neighbors. I have a duty to the people who have made the gamble to invest in our city. And I'm really grateful that everything that we've done, I think, is paying off. And again, we have the city going in the right direction. And I think I was going to be content to just write out everything and stay on the school board, but an opportunity did come up to run for the state senate. Senate District D. That's where I live. It encompasses Senate 2.
Yeah.
Did I say D? That was Clark County
You
Commission.
said D.
I ran for Clark County Commission. Didn't make it there, right? Sorry. Hey, I'm 3-1 in elections, right? Lost that one, but hey, Commissioner McCurdy's doing a pretty good job, so I don't have any reason to run against him. But
Who's in Senate 2 right now?
Senate 2 is a guy that actually I helped get started in politics many years ago, and that'd be Senator Flores, Edgar Flores. But the interesting thing,
doing a good job.
I think I can do better.
How so?
Well, look, right now, if we go over to the swap meet and you walk over there, in this case, the glass being half full is not a good thing. They're not doing so great because we have a lot of people out of work. And I think
swap meet is this?
The Broadacre swap meet. There's a lot of people out of work, and a lot of the reason why I'm a little bit of a Keynesian. I don't know if you guys like economic theory. I'm a little bit of a Keynesian. A Keynesian economist believes that one thing that governments can do to get people back to work is start public works projects that employ people. Hey, during the 30s. This country did that, of course, with the Tennessee Valley Dam projects, right? And locally here, of course, it was Hoover Dam, right? So the theory kind of works. So the film bill that would have brought 17,000 jobs, many of those jobs would have been for North Las Vegans, people doing the concrete work.
But weren't they temporary though? Isn't that what people were complaining about?
Yeah, I see. But there's one thing that I really learned in the state of North Las Vegas. When you bring in, a big employer, you have a lot of other peripheral jobs that come with it. Like for instance, back in the day when we were looking for something to spark us, we were lucky enough to have a startup company, Faraday Future, who they were supposed to be building electric cars. Now you probably think, well, they never got started. That wasn't the point. They were going to invest in the city of North Las Vegas, and with some help from the legislature, we had gotten some tax incentives for them. But they were very responsible tax incentives that they were designed to. They weren't going to get Faraday would not be getting any sort of tax rebates until they had performed and they had invested pretty substantial amounts of money in our city before they got anything back. That's just good. That's a good policy. Okay.
Was this written the same way? With
Yes.
those rebates?
This one would have been the same thing, where there were actually measures put in place, protections. And I'll give a shout out to Mr. Ryan Juden, who is, of course, he was our city manager. He's the kind of like the king of, or I should say, the godfather of doing these things.
The most expensive city manager ever.
Yes, but when you look at how much more we're valued, right, compared to where we were, I think he might very well have earned his keep, right? I know the guy was expensive,
like almost $1 million now, right?
Yeah, but when you look at if we were a company, it would be worth hundreds of billions of dollars. So in retrospect, I think sometimes you have to have a good CEO, and he was tops. I think he was tops in the state, but good parameters were put in place that would have protected the taxpayer, and
How so?
Well, again, if I think it was Warner Brothers was one of the potential investors, if they, I don't remember the exact details, but they had to put in a certain amount of investment before they got anything back.
But they were able to sell those rebates to other companies.
Yeah, there's a little bit of liquidity.
Does
Now,
that always happen, or was that specific to this particular?
I think it was a little bit specific to this
Oh, so
one.
that's not a normal thing for a company to go sell their tax rebates to other corporations.
Well, when it comes to like the tax credits that people use, like the green credits, right? Mm-hmm. That happens. People sell their green credits, on the open market, and that's so people will buy. They'll sell the green credits that they got from the federal government to other corporations. So it's kind of like has happened in other situations. So so it's not necessarily unprecedented. But there were protections to help out the individual taxpayers. But here's what we would have had. Even if it had been a wash, let's say we get about as much income back to the state coffers that is being put in. But you still have the temporary jobs that get people back to work, but you would have had long-term a lot more jobs, because once you have those studios there, you have now you have a critical mass of people, and you have a critical mass of for instance, sound engineers. They're gonna move here to Las Vegas, and they're not gonna be working for minimum wage. They're gonna be getting decent wages. Editors, a lot of people who are in technical positions. Now,
so they would be moving in for these jobs from other states?
Yeah, probably.
Well, we want to employ our people that are here, right?
We drag people along. We have people moving here. We have people get trained up, right? In the end, they were looking at about 15,000 jobs associated with that. Now, of course, not everyone's going to be a sound engineer. Not everyone's going to be, the big IT tech who, makes $500,000, whatever. But you'd have opportunities that are around this. In development in North Las Vegas, for instance, what I learned is when you have a developer who's bringing in, say, a shopping center, they give the best incentive to the anchor, the Walmart, the Smiths, whoever's going to be the anchor. They get the preferred rate, the La Bonita. They get the preferred rate. Why? Because as soon as they come in, you're going to get you're going to get the Starbucks. You're going to get the shoe store. You'll get all the other stores, and they pay the market rate. Mm-hmm. But you need something to bring all the rest of them in. That's what this studio would have done. It would have brought in,
just like what Bugsy Siegel did when he built the Flamingo. Now look at us.
Okay, well, we won't count about anyone getting their eyes blown out of their head, right? But maybe similar.
What is the unemployment rate in the city of North Las Vegas? You've mentioned many times that people are out of work.
Yeah.
What does that number look like?
I think there's a couple rates. There's the official rate, and then there's kind of like the shadow rate, because there's going to be a lot of people who work at the swap meet who may or may not even be included in the.
Which are what? What are those numbers? What are those percentages?
I don't have them right now, but I could probably find out if I ask my economic development office. I didn't come here with them, right? We do have a lot of people who, those construction workers I was telling you about that probably live in North Vegas or live on the east side, they take their checks home, and of course they're going to spend it in the local restaurant, but they're going to spend it at the swap meet. They're going to spend it in La Bonita and get that money flowing in the economy. And that's what a lot of people are really worried about right now. We're still seeing inflation still rising. It's more than 3%. And we see.
What do you mean it's still rising? You mean just here locally or nationally?
I think nationally. Gas prices might have stabilized and gone down, right? And I have a feeling we're going to have a glut of oil for a long time. But last time I went to the supermarket, right, the little shopping cart full of food that I bought that would have cost me less than $100 is well over $100 now.
From what time to what time?
From last year to this year.
Because if you look at inflation since Trump took office, it has considerably gone down from what he was left with from the Biden administration.
I don't
exponentially.
You
better
on that
look
one, I would
those
disagree.
Numbers up, Isaac.
On this one, I'll disagree. If I do have receipts out there in my truck because I just throw them in there, right? But I can guarantee you that I'm paying a lot more for my groceries now than I did last year.
I have a few questions for you, Councilman. You've been on the council for how many years now?
Since 2013. I'm not great with math, but I think that's what 12 years.
13.
It'll be 13 when I'm all done.
13 years.
Mm-hmm.
What have you accomplished since you've been there? You.
Well,
not piggyback on somebody else.
Yeah.
You.
No. We have an expedited plans checking program, right? That was like it's been kind of like the model for the entire city, right? For the entire valley here. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that was one of my actions that I took over. Now, of course, I had to have other people help me to get that started, for instance. But that came from talking to a developer. There was a guy, I probably shouldn't mention his name, and I won't, but I went out to one of his projects very early on in my tenureship there as a city councilman. Mm-hmm. And he explained to me, hey, listen, I've been going back and forth with the planning department. I get plans, they get marked up, they go back. It's been taking him 3 to 8 months to get back, just general plans that should have taken only a couple of weeks. He said, and I explained to him, well, our guys are overworked. He said, well, I'd be willing to pay extra just to get these plans, moved ahead to the front of the line. I'd be willing to pay extra because even if I pay extra, it's going to save me on interest rates because every day that this place is not open, I'm paying money that I'm not going to get back in interest. So I went back, to our team and said, hey, listen, I just talked to the developer, and he said he's willing to pay extra. At that time, we weren't doing so great economically as a city. We'd had employees that had not had a raise in years. Then we saw an opportunity where if we take the money these guys are willing to pay extra and pay that as overtime to our plans checkers to take extra work home, they can get their plans back in a much quicker fashion. So we opened up our plans, our expedited plans check system, right? And that's been one thing to help get the city back. There's still probably there's no city in the state where you can go from plans being submitted to get shovels in the ground faster than the city of North Vegas.
Has Clark County done something
Now
similar?
they're copying.
Have they copied yet?
Yeah, they're copying us.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because that probably would be useful in every jurisdiction.
Yeah, I think everyone's beginning to copy us now. They steal our thunder. Hey, here's another one. The last time you went to North Las Vegas, did you notice that we had any graffiti? You won't find it. And that took a...
Go look.
Yeah, please go.
Wait,
please look.
what?
Yeah, go look.
Just driving down the street? Because,
Yeah.
we saw that when we went up to... when we went to the city council at that building there, we were there for something else. I forget why we were there, but we were there. Yeah.
You won't find very much graffiti in the city of North Vegas, if at all.
Why is it?
Because we have probably the best graffiti abatement program in the city. Although the county kind of like,
Did you push that?
Heck yes.
Clark County needs to copy you on that too.
Well, they've gotten much better. I do have to say they've gotten
How
much
does this
better.
work?
So originally, what I had, when I had my very first, what do you call that? Your town hall after I got elected, I was expecting for people to come up and for their concerns to be like crime or traffic. Their number one concern for business and for our residents was unwanted graffiti. And so at first, I had the idea, well, let's raise a few bucks and, we'll put people, we'll take pictures and put that online to get people to rat each other out, we'll crack down on these people. I wanted to find out that was actually really bad policy because all we'd be doing, you have to go back and take a psychological look at that. What is it that these, I call them urban artists, what is it that they really want? They want the notoriety. So if Barron puts the weight of the city and takes a picture of their stuff and puts them up online, all I did was I satisfied their need to be validated. So what we figured out is if we get
Doesn't that mean they're going to do some more though?
Yeah, that would have been the real. And then plus we're busting kids who probably are poor, right? And then hanging stuff over their head, which all we're doing is giving more work to our cops when they should be focused on other things that we could handle administratively. So we put our heads together and we worked with the juvenile court system, with the judge over there, Judge Sullivan. We came up with a better idea. What they don't want is to get their stuff taken off really quickly. So I noticed that we had a small fee for beautification on the water bill. It was 25 cents. And I did some research and found out that had not changed in over 20 years. So I wanted to up the fee to a whole $1, but the team pulled me back and said, hey, let's just get it to 75 cents. We used that small increase that everyone pays to hire a graffiti abatement team, and we got our IT team to build us a new app that's called Contact NLV. And you can download it yourself if you like, right? It works really great. It works with a satellite program. So if you're driving on the street, see some graffiti on a wall in North Las Vegas, you get out, engage your Contact NLV, and you can turn it in now for a lot of things, not just graffiti.
Like Clark County, they do this online thing. I forget what it's called, but yeah,
they copied us,
Yeah.
But that's okay, flattery. I'm pretty happy, right? So you send it in, take a picture, send it in, and we have roving squads, and they go. And we guarantee it's gone within 72 hours. Usually it's the same day. I've had people go on the way to the supermarket, they'll take a picture of it and send it in, and on the way back, it's already gone. And the idea is, it's amazing. Sometimes if they're there, they will go and they document it and they put it in the system in case we catch the person. We have a whole body of stuff to charge them with, right? Not just one, because these graffiti artists, they work really hard and putting their stuff out there. Anyhow, so right now, graffiti is one of our least, and I think it's helped out a lot because it's demonstrated to the business world, small businessmen. I had a lot of small businessmen who they want to actually locate their business in North Vegas, but they were worried about having to pay constantly to have, the graffiti taken off their buildings. Mm-hmm. So now, we do things, we take it off for them very expeditiously, right?
Do these guys just roam all the time? They should be roaming all the time.
Yeah, they roam
and not
all the time.
wait for people to send in the picture.
Sometimes
right?
We had an instance where they roamed too much, right? And took out a mural that the owner actually wanted and had paid for, but it was bad. Yikes. Yeah, but
how much did that cost the city?
Well, we were able to convince the artist to go back and do that for a small fee. But hey,
it's not at liberty to disclose that fee,
that cost the city.
Right, Isaac?
I'd rather go with what she says. But the point being, hey, they did their job. They went out on the hunt looking for graffiti. And and then our team also was able to partner with like the regional flood control district to get out into our flood channels to remove things there, right? We partner with other entities to just to keep the city clean.
What about your homeless?
Well, we're still working on that. I'm very happy to say that we have
J Street.
Yeah, because we were down there like a few weeks ago, and
that's in Las Vegas, all respect. Mm-hmm. However, we do have a home team. Mm-hmm. We have a fantastic team that's dedicated, to interdict and to help people out who are homeless. Just going out and roughing people up and throwing them to the street, that doesn't work. So the first thing our home team does, they go out, and we actually have people who work for the home team who they were formerly homeless themselves, including some vets. Right, I'm very happy that we have them. But we go and whenever we have a report, let's say I call them urban campers. Right, we have some urban campers hanging out outside of the business. I get the report. We send it to home team. The home team goes and engages. The first thing they do is they try to find out what needs these homeless people have. If they're veterans, if they have substance abuse issues, right? We offer them services first and foremost, right? But if they're unwilling to accept services, they are asked to leave, and we do have a police presence that goes there to enforce that. Which kind of gets me to another thing. One thing that I'm really proud of is that I think we're the first municipality to really address social issues and try to address them in a more sensible way through our incarceration. Before, of course, we had this jail that we had to shut down because of budgetary issues. But 3 years later, when we were able to actually afford, we reopened it with a new type of vision in place. So we have different programs that are designed to provide an interdiction to try to get people to not repeat. We're trying to lower our recidivism rate. So we have these things called, for instance, we have a veterans court. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I think I missed the veterans court today.
Who's in charge of that? What judge?
The judge. We have two judges, Judge Corey Ketter and our new judge, who I forgot the guy's name.
Jonathan Cooper.
Jonathan. Oh no, Jonathan Cooper. He's in the Justice Court.
You're talking about the new guy that they appointed that night that we were at City Council.
Yeah.
Cannon or something.
Cannon. Oh, Judge, sorry, please forgive me. I forgot. If you're watching, please forgive me. But anyhow, and before him, Judge Lee, who retired, he took over for Judge Lee. So we opened up these new courts because we realized that a lot of these issues are traced back to veterans issues or mental health issues or substance abuse issues. So we have a youth court too. So we have special courts and special programs that we have with partners in the community that are designed specifically to address these people with very special causes. And like, for instance, I went to the youth court. There's several people, young people who were incarcerated, and for generally nonviolent things. And if they complete the program, and if they can stay out of trouble for a year, the thing that they got arrested from is erased from the record. So it allows them to go ahead and proceed with their lives. You know, for some people, even
youth court, isn't that normal to seal juvenile records, anyways?
For us, youth court means 18 to 24, because because that's where everyone gets in trouble from the time you're a teenager till about your middle 20s. Then you kind of figure things out.
Not everyone.
Not everyone. You were a good girl, I'm sure, right? But I can think of a few people who, probably, could have gone to jail, right?
Raise your hand, Isaac.
Yeah, that was me,
Jeez, Isaac.
Well, hey, at least I'm honest, But the point being, we try to reduce recidivism, and we try to use, our system, our criminal justice system in the city of North Vegas, to help people out of their situation instead of just lock them up and throw away the key. That hasn't worked. So we're trying to make an honest effort to reduce recidivism, still have public safety, but reduce the recidivism.
Do you guys fill a vacancy on your city council?
Yeah, we did a couple years ago. Okay.
And you interviewed Ruth Garcia Anderson, who's now the councilwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Whose place did she take?
Our fantastic mayor. She moved. Our new fantastic mayor, Pamela
Goins-Brown.
Yeah, Pamela Goins-Brown.
When she went to mayor.
Yeah, she went.
Okay,
when
so
she won
made the
her
vacancy.
Yeah, that was the vacancy.
Okay. What do you guys look for when you select a council rep?
I can only tell you how, from my point of view.
What do you look for?
I was looking for someone who really reflected our community. And I didn't even know who she was until I met her during the interview process, right? And Ruth, she very much is like the blue-blooded American, right? She was actually born in Mexico, emigrated to our country, as a child, grew up here, right? She was a teacher in Reno, where she grew up. And she and her husband run a chiropractor business. She's a small businesswoman raising these kids, right? And to me, she very much reflected, I think, what it meant to be a North Las Vegas resident. Not being given anything, earning your way through everything, and trying to make your way in the world there, right? There were other people that I liked very much, but I thought that she was the best person, the best fit to work with our city council. I think the residents agreed. It was pretty close. That her re-election was pretty close, but she did win.
It was election.
Yeah,
it was retention.
Right. Yeah, your retention.
Against
retention election.
Twix. Robert
Twix
Taylor.
A fantastic guy who I'm hoping that he still has an eye to going into public service. I think he has a nice future ahead of him. Right. He lost that election, I think, by less than 10 votes.
Oh, it was really close.
But in North Vegas, we have lots of really slim votes. I think even
one did I remember there was a city council race. They did a coin toss.
Yeah, that was Pamela's race against. Now she's one of the assembly people. I'll remember her name in just a moment here. Again, it just these. I think Churchio lost a race. He led by one vote, right? And then Mayor Mayor
Sherry Buck was mayor.
Yeah. So he lost a race by one vote. These things, again, your vote really does matter, especially in North Las Vegas, right?
Especially in North Las Vegas.
Especially in North Vegas.
So, Councilman, you're running for State Senator District number 2.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to bring to the table that the current state senator has not?
Well, when you look,
hopefully he doesn't get arrested for a DUI.
Well, yeah, I won't go there. I think there's been a disconnect between our state leaders and our local leaders. With all respect, the level of government that deals with the residents on a daily basis is not the state government. It's not even the federal government, right? It's your state. It's your local leadership, right? Your roads get
the
built.
rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah, literally, because they build a road, they keep the lights on. We make sure that we have a fire department that'll come to your house and drag you out in case your hair's on fire, right? Because something got out of hand. We look after local. It's all about the locals, and I think there's been a really lack of understanding, I think, between our state folks and our local folks. We see that all the time. A couple of years ago, I have no idea. It's inexplicable, but much of the state's business was focused on these roadside vendors. Okay, which I was told, it's because the city of North Las Vegas, they're arresting these roadside vendors. No, our cops were not. They have a lot more to do than to be harassing guys who are selling, chips on the side of the road. It was not the case.
Are they operating legally or no?
Well, look, it's such a great program that as of yet, I think there's less than 10 people in the county and in the city of North Vegas who have even gotten this license. It was something that it didn't have anything to do with the running of our state, and we already have public policy governing this. We have the health department that governs, how food should be sold. And I myself, look, I would never buy from these roadside vendors. They're selling and preparing tacos 10 feet away from an active road where people are driving by. There's particulates up in the air, and I would not eat that. Yeah, exactly. And I would not
fruit stands that make all that juice and all that, right?
I
don't know about that.
On that one, I'm kind of libertarian. If other people want to go ahead and put their health at risk, go ahead.
You saying that he's the one that brought the roadside vendors?
He was part of that. There were a couple others.
Doesn't that make us look like a third world country when somebody pitch up a tent and go on the sidewalk and to sell fruit?
Block the sidewalk.
And block the sidewalk that we pay tax dollars for?
But the point being is that we already have public policy, local public policy that could handle this.
And how do you keep up with the?
Who enforces that?
How do you keep up with the inspection for food when they just pick up and go and you don't even see them?
That's just it.
It's not a brick and mortar.
There were other measures that I'll let them go ahead and explain, because there were other measures that were actually proposed to the state government that would have actually have addressed it right. And I'm not going to defend or propose those myself. I'll let the people who are responsible for that, I'll let them figure out, because there were other proposals that would have addressed it. And so now that you have like enforcement issues, right? I do think our cops have a lot better stuff to do than to be, chasing around, these roadside vendors. I think
until somebody gets sick from one of them and dies, and the family is, going after the city for not enforcing these people to get rid of them.
On that one, it would not be the city, right? And again, it was the state that kind of like gave, the state, with us, we have nothing to do with it. The local governments had nothing to do with it. They got overridden on that. And I mean, there's a multitude of other things. Like, I didn't know this, but like, for instance, after we had, that tragic incident of a kid getting hit and killed there in a school zone, I didn't know that the school zones were governed by the state. How was that?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. And so now I'm really happy that the governor in his newest crime bill, he addressed that, and so now the locals can actually address that. But that's just an example, of this disconnect between the state and local government. So what I'm bringing is I've been in a local government, not just in a city, but on a school district, and so I have a look. I have a perspective that's probably a lot different than most of the people that are in office up there. I'm an educator. I have a perspective on. I mean, I could tell good teaching when I see it. I was during Christmas time, I dressed up like the Grinch and I showed up at schools and I was reading to kids there, right? And you can go into a classroom and see a fantastic teacher when you go in there, and because you can feel it, right? I've seen really award-winning teachers at work. I can tell good, educational policy when I see it, right? So I have that background as an educator. That's kind of, there are other educators, in the legislature. I'm one who was in what's an inner city school and in rural schools, and I've taught adult education. I taught everything but kindergarten and college. So I have that background. I'm really good at helping our businesses get what they need. And if you don't believe me, there's our city, that has revived, and we did it without having to pay people to come and do things. Why? Because you have to make your government amenable to the way that business works. I have a saying that our city, we move with the speed of business. That's what the kind of thing that will bring to the state.
You guys, when you were on the council, you guys turned down the tunnel to towers.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to put housing facility across the street from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you guys turn that down?
Well, there was a couple of problems.
They want to put veteran housing.
Yeah. Look, I actually have their original proposal. What they didn't tell you is they had an original proposal that wasn't on that site. It was an original proposal off Pecos and Centennial that had been very close to that. And we were willing, the city of North Las Vegas, we were willing to go ahead and change some of our zoning just to get them to have their project there. I was a big fan of that project. Again, I have two brothers. One, may he rest in peace, and a grandfather who are members of the military. Many of my students, my contemporaries, they're members of the military. So I was actually proud that they were going to alight right there in Ward 1, and we had a nice piece of property for them that they were going to have to get a couple things, but we were willing to go ahead and bend and put them there. Then I didn't hear from them for several months.
How far away was that from the hospital?
I would say about 1.25 miles, right? By the crow flies, even less than that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't very far away at all. Then I didn't hear from them for several months. The next time I hear from them, they've acquired some property that's closer and
right
was cheaper.
The street, right?
Yeah, but it was cheaper. So, I get it. So they acquired this property that was a commercial piece of property, and they wanted us to go ahead and change that. Rezone it. Now, the problem with this is this. For us, commercial property is really golden. You have to have a good mix of commercial property to go along with residential and everything else. Why? Because you have to have that commercial property to help you give the tax base to help support your residents.
How many acres was that piece?
Not very big, maybe like that.
So that changing that to residential or whatever that zoning would have been, that wouldn't have really been a huge thing.
When you look at, it would have been a little bit of a thing, right? Because with the acreage that's right next to them, the 40 acres plus, that 60 acres plus and next to them, we're trying to get a hospital built there, which we had a couple of people going through, and we're going for round 3 here, right? We have the hospital, but they're going to need other commercial providers to help support that hospital. Mm-hmm. So it's about what you want your community to look like, 5, 10, even 20 years down the line. So that piece of property, it wasn't the fact they were anti-veteran, and it certainly wasn't the fact, that had it been zone residential, we wouldn't even be talking about this. They would have already gone in, but they already had a piece of property, and again, they have not been totally, I didn't say anything during the start of the thing because I don't want to go on my own and be the cowboy and say and
you don't want to get on your soapbox.
No, of course not. The best thing to do was to let the process work out, and and we didn't go with it. And I was a bit offended by the fact that they went around us and tried to put a lot of political heat from those horses, but they didn't know that. And again, I was clearing off my desk and I came across. I'll actually mail it to you. You can see what the original plans were and where they were going to go. They could have had their tunnel towers, and it would have been in Las Vegas.
Did you mail it to me?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'm not going to put it in the garbage. I'll send it to you.
Before we let you go, I don't know what Ms. Phillips has, but I have one more question. And you're running for State Senate District Number 2, and I want to stick on that because that's the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as of yet, this is kind of like the soft opening because I haven't made a formal declaration.
You already made it. Okay, so
we did it for you.
Yeah, you did.
There you go,
You
Isaac.
already did it. So you're running.
So you see it'll show up to my
you
my do
running
launch,
for
right?
State Senate District Number 2.
Okay, I'll be watching for you guys.
And this is this is a partisan seat, so Republican, Democrat, blah blah blah. Now you're going to be running for this seat on a Democratic ticket, and the current senator is a Democrat. Do you think that you're going to upset your base by running against another Democrat, especially one that's an incumbent?
This is about business. This is about business. Ever since I got into public service, I have handled the business of the city of North Las Vegas, and my residents have thanked me for it. I've thanked them for their support. This is about business. Are there personal issues? Maybe so, but not through me. This is about making things run at the state level for the residents of District 2, for the residents of North Las Vegas, and that also includes Las Vegas and unincorporated Clark County. This, for me, is all about business. And, there might be people who are kind of upset because I'm running against a Democrat. I think I can do better. I have a track record of outperforming every person that I've supplanted. And I will work diligently to make this happen as well. Will there be people who will be upset? Yeah. But you know what? I have a fantastic record also of having people who come to me who, quite frankly, they're Republicans. The local seats, they're all nonpartisan, well, except for county. But I work with people who are definitely, they represent a little bit more of a conservative, attitude than I have. But we find a way to make things work for the residents of North Las Vegas. I think I can make things work with our colleagues who are Republican or at least more conservative leaning, and there are going to be conservative Democrats and there are going to be more liberal Democrats. I consider myself a pretty good moderate, and for me, there's nothing personal about this. It's all about business. And I think that there are people who sometimes get involved in public service and they don't take care of business first. And when I mean business, I don't mean the companies, I don't mean the money people. I'm talking about the business, the actual act of making your government work.
So what's your number one BDR that you're going to submit if you become a state senator?
I don't know yet. That's something where I would use to gather.
You have an idea?
My three things that I'll be running on are, number one, getting more jobs, I think, here in the state of Nevada, promoting, buoying, and pushing education, public safety.
Okay.
And I think we can get those things done. And I think we don't have to raise a whole bunch of taxes to make this thing happen. I just think we,
shouldn't have to raise them at all.
No,
they already take too much money. I think they need to weed out the fraud. They need to audit these departments and find out where some of this money is going and account for that, and maybe reappropriate some money, some tax dollars. And I think they have more than enough. But it seems like a politician's answer or their first solution is tax the taxpayers some more, and that's not always.
Although there is a corollary. Like, for instance, I will say that yes, I did get a 25-cent raise all the way to 75 cents, but we put that money to work, beautifying our city. So it's not like we took the money and pocketed that sucker. No, we hired these trucks, we hired people, and they went on the prowl, and they've done their job. You can have responsible government that are good caretakers of their community, right? You can do it with the resources we have, but I think a lot of it is I think you have to be willing to put that work in. You have to be willing to listen to your residents, and I think you have to be willing to understand what good policy is in the first place.
Okay, well, Councilman, Ms. Phillips, do you have anything else for the councilman? Well, Councilman, thank you for coming on the program. Mark's going to zoom in on you, and you can make your official announcement in 2 languages. Because we're gonna put this on the Spanish pages as well.
Well, what I'm gonna tell people is to look out for my official announcement.
Okay.
So this is the kind of like the unofficial announcement.
You could give your point of contact or whatever you want, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Remember, 2 languages.
Okay.
Dos.
I just actually acquired my campaign manager, and so he's a young man, and I myself I take every asset the way it goes. I have no problem having a young person run my contest. So I'll let Andrew, I'll let him decide when we're going to do the announcement. But I'll be running for the state senate too. I'll be doing this, of course, again, to help put people back to work. We're going to expand, promote, and make education a huge priority. And finally, we're going to get back to definitely public safety. Me llamo Issac Barron. Soy concejal en la Escuela de Las Vegas y yo quiero que ustedes me apoyen aquí para mi candidatura para el Senado Distrito número 2. Lo que vamos a hacer es que vamos a poner gente a trabajar otra vez, vamos a mejorar educación y vamos a subir la seguridad de nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias. Estén pendientes para nuestro oficial anuncio de cuándo vamos a empezar esta campaña. Please stay tuned for our official campaign announcement that'll start everything.
Are we invited?
Heck yes! I'll be kind of like hurt if you don't show up.
We will come, Isaac.
Well, Councilman, thank you so much. It's been a very good show. I appreciate your wanting to stay in politics.
Well, actually, for that, I really didn't want to run anymore. I just, I see a need, and I was asked, and sometimes, it's kind of a sacrifice.
Well,
at least but I'm willing to do it.
At least you come on our show. Your opponent canceled on us, so we're very upset about it. Very upset about that.
Rescheduled, Ed.
Well, again, it's nothing personal. This
when they cancel and don't reschedule, it's personal.
We think it's personal.
for me, again, this campaign will be about the business of Senate District 2, North Las Vegas, East Las Vegas, unincorporated Clark County, and I think we can do better.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Ms. Phillips. Folks, that's Issac Barron, North Las Vegas City Council and candidate for Nevada State Senate District Number 2. Watch out, Edgar Flores. Councilman Barron is going to next election. This is Steve Sands and Stephanie Phillips with Veterans in Politics. Until next time.